We're still hearing them trying to make sure that everyone is accounted for, everyone is safe. And I think the fact that they do believe that they have the shooter detained, that is helping things as they move forward. But still, you know, a very active situation, Chairston, as we look at this, because we do know, in fact, that people were hit. But we do have information now coming out on social media. We're breaking in here on Channel 6, but we're also following this on Facebook, and that's where people are sharing information. Let's go to the news desk now. We have Nicole Mischke there, who's tracking information there.
Yes, Kalai, you know, we are on social media just trying to gather more information here, and we actually have a photo that was just posted by a student who has been evacuated from the high school. I'm going to show it to you now. This was tweeted out by a girl named Christina. She says she is at Freeman Elementary currently, where she has been evacuated. She is a junior at the high school. She has been evacuated to this classroom, and she says that she heard at least 4 shots fired. We're going to continue to monitor this on social media and bring you any other updates that we see, but just such a terrifying, tragic situation. You see all the kids in this photo on the ground, kneeling down below the windows as they await the next instructions that will hopefully be coming from authorities soon. I will send it back to you.
And Nicole, really quickly before you go, are you hearing anything about victims at this point? Are you able to confirm? Because at first when we went to air, we understand there are multiple victims. Are you getting any confirmation on that?
We have not been able to see any confirmation on number of victims or the extent of any injuries. All we know is that there are multiple victims in this shooting. And as you mentioned already, all Spokane public schools have been put on lockdown, and they are actively working to evacuate the entire Freeman High School as we speak.
And to give folks a little perspective, if you're unfamiliar with the Freeman High School, thank you very much, Nicole. Student population, a little over 300. So at this hour, 10:41 in the morning, most likely all of the buses that dropped off students for the day have already left. So trying to facilitate that, getting the buses back in to then evacuate the students to the elementary school. That's going to take a little time, a little finagling. And once again, if you're just joining us here this morning, shots fired, a shooter detained, this at Freeman High School.
And this coming over the scanner, us hearing of this just before 10 o'clock this morning. Since then, we've been able to confirm that that did take place. And interesting to hear from Nicole, as we hear from students who are in this situation right now, using social media as a way to communicate. The picture is really chilling, Chairston, when you look at what those students are doing right now as they're trying to find safety. And right now at this point, so many more questions than answers. The student who posted this picture saying that she heard 4 shots. At this point, these students, these kids that we're looking at, have just as many questions as we do. What happened? Who was hit? Is that person or are those people going to be okay? These people hopefully finding safety, able to eventually evacuate and get home, but still, we don't know exactly how many people were hurt in this, only that the shooter has been detained.
One other thing that I want to make mention of, folks going to social media saying that they saw multiple ambulances flying down Highway 27, trying to get to the high school. We also have crews in place going to nearby hospitals, trying to gather more information, like you were saying, who was hit, who's injured. At this point, we understand multiple victims. We do not have specific confirmation as to ages of these teachers, staff, children. We just don't know at this point.
We want to let you know that we do have a reporter who just arrived on scene at Freeman High School. They're working up to get their live picture for us so that we can go to them and we can get a picture of what it looks like outside of the school. Of course, they're also collecting information, hopefully answering many of the questions that so many of us have already.
Yeah, and right now I can actually see our very own Haley Gunthner. She's been working her sources with the Spokane Sheriff's Office, trying to gather the very latest information, and as soon as she is ready, we'll go to her because we have deployed all of our reporters on this one today. This is a very serious matter. Spokane Public Schools are currently on lockdown. Haley, what can you tell us, the very latest information?
I can tell you that right now those deputies are searching the school room by room. This is a very tense, very heartbreaking situation as deputies are still trying to get a handle on the magnitude of what exactly they are dealing with. This is developing and there are new details continuing to come in really by the second. This is an all hands on deck type situation. Anyone who can respond is responding from Spokane County. That's deputies from the Valley, from far north, obviously from the Freeman area as well. And it does appear that Ozzie Knezovich is trying to make his way to the scene there as well. We are working to get in touch with him, and as soon as I can get him on the phone or hopefully get him live there at the scene, we will bring that to you. This is the kind of situation where deputies are just asking for everybody to bear with them as they try to really get a handle on what exactly we have on our hands here.
Haley, if you can, I mean, you talk to these guys day in, day out about stories that are transpiring, but describe those conversations that you just had.
You know, Kalai, so many of these deputies, of these first responders who are there on the scene are parents themselves. So you can only imagine how horrific the situation really can be when you are a mom, when you are a dad. Looks like we do have a live picture now of the scene there at Freeman High School. Our reporter Peter Maxwell just got to the scene, so I can tell you we do have deputies there from the Spokane Valley Police Department, the Sheriff's Office. This is an extremely active scene, and crews obviously are asking you to avoid the area if at all possible. You can see that there is an ambulance right there in the center of your screen. It does appear to be leaving lights and sirens for obvious reasons. We do have Peter Maxwell on the phone. So Peter Maxwell just arrived on the scene just moments ago. Peter, you can obviously see it's incredibly active. We have motorcycle officers there, all hands on deck. What can you tell us?
It's an all hands on deck moment right now. Emergency crews are still arriving on scene right now. As we were en route to this location at Freeman High School, multiple sheriff's deputies brushed past us. Several ambulances also were en route to the hospital. An ambulance did pass me going back towards Spokane. Excuse me, I'm a little bit out of breath. On the way in, we did see a helicopter land on the field, and I did see someone being carried in a tarp out towards that helicopter. And right now I do see another ambulance leaving Freeman High School. It's a very active situation here. We do not know much, but more law enforcement officials are right now arriving on scene. Parents are meeting at the food mart, at the Exxon Food Mart, right next to the high school. And as soon as I get more information, I'll be sure to bring it to you guys first thing.
All right. Peter Maxwell just getting to the scene there at Freeman High School. If you were just joining us, here's what we can tell you. Just before 10 o'clock, reports that shots were fired at the high school. So many people saying that they could see all kinds of law enforcement making their way to the high school. Now, we have confirmed with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office that they do have a shooter detained. However, they have also confirmed that there are multiple injuries. And you heard Peter just mention it. On their way to the scene, they saw an ambulance zoom past, obviously on its way to the hospital. Also there within this live shot in this video that he just sent us, you see an ambulance there, also there to take victims to the hospital. But at this point, he's describing a very active scene, and you heard that from Haley too. I think there was at one point, a breath of relief when we heard that there was a shooter detained. But you're looking at this, you're seeing the search of the high school, you're seeing these schools go into lockdown, and you're understanding now how serious this is and that this is an active scene. I'd like to bring in Sean now. He is joining us this morning with this breaking news. Cheriston is moved now to the news desk to collect information there.
And Clyde, you've been outlining as we go back to those live pictures and we show you obviously law enforcement over and over. They train for crisis management and going into a scene like this. Obviously, the schools are in lockdown. Spokane Public School District also putting out on Twitter that the south end of their district, they've locked down those schools as a precaution. We are also learning that Central Valley schools are in lockdown as a precautionary measure. Want to keep those students safe. We did see some pictures sent to us from students that have phones inside of Freeman High School of them crouched down on the ground in lockdown mode. but the sheriff's office responding there. For Freeman, obviously that is out between, if you go off Pines, that turns into Highway 27. That is before you get to Rockford. Off to the right there is Freeman High School. That's where all of this is unfolding. We received word on it about 45 minutes ago, and since then, obviously, authorities responded there in force.
And we've been talking about it, Sean. You say that they train for these things, but when you look at these pictures of these kids who are crouched up, holed up, in lockdown right now, with so many questions, the same questions that we have, as I mentioned earlier. What is happening? Who was involved? Who is hurt? Like I said, this is what we're looking at. We're working to collect more information, and that's why we've deployed all of our crews, including Peter Maxwell.
Yeah, as you look at this picture, that is, I mean, all of us as parents, as we look at this, it is the very last image you ever want to see. But we can tell you that authorities responded there. Obviously, they are surveying that entire area, going building by building, room by room. Let's check in with KHQ local news reporter Peter Maxwell.
I'm here right now at the Freeman store, which is right next to Freeman High School. There are a ton of parents right now running towards the high school. A lot of parents are visibly upset with tears streaming down their faces. They are very concerned right now, and I can tell you this, there's a very large law enforcement presence here right now. Several unmarked units, including a SWAT truck, just rolled up into the high school. More fire trucks are on scene. Parents are right now still gathering at the Freeman Food Mart, which is right next to the gas station. Another ambulance is starting to approach the school right now, but traffic is going to be becoming a problem with the amount of parents that are responding here to the school because of this shooting that has happened here today. I can just tell you it is a very active scene. People are running all around, and it's a pretty frightening sight.
And we're looking at these images there. Peter is going to continue to be in touch with authorities, but right now, obviously, they have their primary job to do, make sure everybody is safe. As we look in that area, we are gathering new information. I can tell you our phones continue to ring. Obviously, if you have a student in this district, you are extremely concerned about what is unfolding there at the building. But you can see the parking lot, which you drop and pick your kids up from school there. That is now so many law enforcement vehicles. Look at the force respond. We see Washington State Patrol. You see Spokane Valley Police. You also see Spokane County Sheriff's Office. So multiple agencies responding. There are multiple injuries reported. We don't know the extent of those injuries. We have been told they've been transported to the hospital, but Kalai, as we look at these images, it is horrifying.
Oh, yeah, and you talk about the law enforcement going there, going to the emergency to help kids like this. This picture posted by a junior from Freeman High School on Twitter earlier this morning, saying that they were being evacuated, moved to the elementary school, and in lockdown there as law enforcement works to secure these areas. Now we're told that they're evacuating students classroom by classroom as they move through the school to try and make sure that everything is okay. And at this point, parents don't know what to do, Sean.
Yeah, and actually we were just told, just received word that as they go classroom to classroom and evacuate the students, they still haven't figured out a place for you as a parent to go. They are working on that. They will relay that. As they do, we will instantly relay that critical information to you. You want to get your son or daughter and get them home safely. But right now, no instructions for you as a parent. As we get that, we will give that to you. Central Valley High School is on lockdown as well. Southside schools in Spokane Public School District are in lockdown. Let's bring in Haley Gunther back in now, who is tracking the latest information. She's right over by our assignment desks. We have numerous employees there answering phones, gathering information from the agencies that have responded. Haley.
Well, Sean, I've been working the phones, reaching out to all my sources in law enforcement across the area. And what I can tell you is the bomb squad has been paged to their hangar. So far, they have not been dispatched to the scene, but they are on standby if their services should be needed. Now, the bomb squad is made up of law enforcement from the Spokane Police Department, Spokane Valley, and of course the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. So they are on standby, ready to step in if their services are needed there at Freeman High School. This is standard procedure when a situation is as serious as this. So it does look like law enforcement services from multiple agencies are stepping up to help Spokane County Sheriff's Office however they can. You can see there is heavy police activity there at the high school, and more resources are just continuing to flock there as they can become available. So, Sean, I will continue to work the phones, call every source I have to try to get new information for you parents. I know so many are so incredibly concerned, and keep in mind a lot of these deputies, a lot of these first responders are parents themselves. So it's just an incredibly emotional situation that is constantly developing.
Well, and Haley, in your conversations with law enforcement right now, can you get a sense of how much of it is precautionary now that they have removed a threat, or is there still a sense that there is a threat presence in the school?
It does appear that the threat has been contained, Kalai, but they are not taking any chances. They are doing every single thing that they can to continue to protect, the children that are still there on campus. So they are taking every precaution, every step that they have available to them to try to get a handle on this and to figure out exactly what they're dealing with. This call did come in roughly an hour ago, so this is a fluid situation, constantly changing. Deputies are searching the school right now, inch by inch. No stone will be left unturned here, just to make sure that the threat has been fully contained. Sean and Kalai, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Haley Guthner there. And it should be said, obviously, the last thing we want to do is get out any misinformation. So we're going to be very, very meticulous and delicate about relaying the information that comes in, because on big stories like this, major news events like this, there is conflicting information when it first happens. We want to be as accurate as possible as we relay this information to you. This is a picture from Katie Chen, who is there, and we can tell you that she sees a number of parents there. Like we said, we don't have any instructions yet for the parents and where to go.
And at this point, they likely heard the same information that we did and rushed to the school looking to make sure that their child was okay. Hopefully, many of them have heard from their children, but you can only imagine, Sean, those who haven't yet. Maybe students who are in the school who don't have a cell phone, who don't have an immediate way to contact your parent or their parents. You can only imagine what those moms and dads are feeling right now.
And the word obviously spreads very fast in a small, tight-knit school like Freeman. It's not one of the bigger schools. Everybody knows everybody. They call each other by their first names. They text parents to parents. And, this is obviously it's a scare in any school. But Freeman, very small, tight community there. And if you've driven by there, you've probably driven by and, seen that school sitting out there, that new facility there. And they do so much, they do good things in the community, and they're always involved. The Freeman Scotties, they're known for that. That's what they are. As you look at video, this was initially responding, the crews there, the emergency crews responding in force. A call comes in like that, it's basically all hands on deck when you're law enforcement. If you are anywhere in that vicinity and beyond, you respond to that area, because you don't know when you're going in what the threat is. The good news is initial indications right now is that they have contained that initial threat, but they are going to go through every inch of that building. They're going to go around the perimeter of that building and beyond as they look for clues, look for any other threat that could possibly be in that immediate area.
Well, and contain the threat, but not before multiple people were injured in this situation. And so you see this ambulance in this picture. You also heard from Peter Maxwell earlier, who said he saw another ambulance zoom past him. We do have crews at area hospitals so they can work to collect information, but at this point, all we know is multiple victims involved in this situation at Freeman High School.
All right, as you can see, we are looking still at video of Freeman. I want to take you live right now to our social media desk right now, because we have Corey, we have Nicole. They are both manning social media right now. A number of people posting photos. In fact, Nicole just now posting on our Facebook page, KHQ. There you can find photos, retweets from students that have been evacuated, going from the high school, evacuated to the nearby elementary school. Now, one thing I want to make incredibly clear, Sean and Kalai, is that we are getting a lot of unconfirmed information on social media right now. We're seeing a lot of information of a fatality that is unconfirmed. We're also getting reports of 3 students injured. That, again, is unconfirmed. However, the school is on lockdown. All students are being right now moved to the elementary school. We're also seeing a number of posts from parents on social media saying, is my kid okay? How do I find out about my kid? Right now, there is not a true staging area for parents. We heard from Peter Maxwell saying that the nearby gas station, a lot of parents have converged there waiting for information. At this point, that probably is the best area to go to. However, we really want to make clear, parents, if you're watching right now, Highway 27 needs to be clear. That is in an effort to allow for ambulances, medical personnel to go in and out of that stretch of highway. Katie, right now next to us, we're getting some new video live from the scene here, so why don't we go ahead and go to that right now. And Sean and Kalai, I'm going to continue manning the social media desk and send it on back to you.
Right, and what you're looking at, this is the perimeter of the school. Obviously, first responders, that's the first thing they look at when they go into a scene where there is a threat involved, a threat with students in harm's way. And you can see they responded there. Once again, if you are just joining us, let's reset what we know, confirmed information right now. We know there are injuries. We have crews at the area hospitals. As we get details on the specifics of those injuries, that's when we will relay it to you. Obviously, we want to be very careful to make sure we get the most accurate information out to you on the injuries involved here. But once again, shots fired at Freeman High School. We've had images sent to us from students who were inside those classrooms as that school was put on lockdown. We can also tell you other area schools, Spokane Public Schools, putting out that all of their schools on the south end of their district, that would be Mullen Road, that would be Moran Prairie, Ferris High Schools on the south end. All those schools put into lockdown as a precautionary move. We can tell you some schools in the Central Valley School District put on lockdown as well. Highway 27 leads you along Pines, turns into Highway 27, leads you to Freeman there. That is the location where the original report came in of that threat. And when that threat came in, Washington State Patrol, Spokane County Sheriff's Office, Spokane Valley Police responded there. And we are hearing word that we have a different live picture.
Yeah, this is a live picture. What we're looking at right now is Valley Hospital. So as we mentioned, we do have crews at the hospitals, Valley Hospital. We're working on getting a live picture at Sacred Heart Hospital and that live picture from Freeman High School where this all happened. Sean, I want to let you know that I'm in contact right now with former KHQ reporter Dana Haynes, who tells me that she is in touch with a mom who has children in an elementary school, and the mom says that some elementary kids had PE in the high school this morning. She said that this mother that she talked to is hysterical, bawling, barely able to talk. She also says that this mother that she was in contact with says that her girls weren't there because they were late to school this morning.
All right, well, our reporter Peter Maxwell is at the location there at Freeman High School as you're looking at video from a short time ago. Peter, a couple of questions for you out of the gate here. Have we had an indication of any type of briefing coming up from a representative from law enforcement to exactly illustrate what they're dealing with?
We have not gotten a update yet from law enforcement. As you could probably think that they're very busy right now in the scene. Law enforcement officials are still actually arriving on scene right now. It's a pretty chaotic scene right here at Freeman High School. But no, we have not received any more information yet from law enforcement officials as to what exactly happened inside the school this morning.
Okay, Peter Maxwell reporting from Freeman High School, working to get more information. And they're evacuating each classroom one by one as law enforcement moves out. In the meantime, as we said, parents are waiting outside. They haven't been notified on a staging area where exactly they're supposed to go. So at this point, they're waiting in the perimeter, waiting to find out if their children are okay.
Our Morgan Marum is at Valley Hospital right now. Let's go live to her.
Well, hello, we just arrived here on scene at Valley Hospital right off of Pines. As of right now, we haven't seen anything or anyone come in. There haven't been any ambulances. We've been here for probably about 6 minutes total. I can tell you, though, we did see security start circling the parking lot here. So I would imagine there's some kind of communication going. As we may have mentioned before, this is the closest hospital to Freeman. So this very well could be something or some place that they possibly could be bringing some of these students. So we're going to be here on scene bringing you the latest. Of course, I'm on all of our social media media platforms as well. And as soon as we see anything, if we have any kind of alert, we will bring that to you. We did hear some sirens as we first pulled in. We weren't sure whether or not that was something to be concerned of, but as of right now, I can tell you actually the entrance to the hospital right there is the emergency right there. We are on public ground right off the site here, but as soon as anything happens, we can take you right there and show you as the ambulances come in. So you can bet that we'll be the first people to be here if anything does in fact arrive here at the Valley Hospital.
Right.
Sean?
Morgan Marham live in the Valley Hospital, and unfortunately we have some brand new information coming from one of the Spokane area hospitals right now.
Haley Gunther is in touch with them. She joins us now with brand new information, hopefully learning more about these victims. Haley?
Well, we are told by officials there at Sacred Heart that multiple victims are en route to be treated there. They do hope to get us in touch with some of their medical professionals to give us an update on how their plan of attack here to treat these victims. So we can confirm that multiple people who were injured are on their way right now to Sacred Heart. If we're not sure on the number of injured just yet, as deputies are continuing to assess and get a handle on this situation, but we do know that at least some of them are on their way right now to Sacred Heart. Major crimes detectives just arriving on the scene there in Freeman. It is anyone who can go is on their way to the scene there right now in Freeman. And I can also tell you that because all of the resources are tied up there in Freeman, all of the Spokane police officers will be handling any emergencies, any other emergencies that should come up throughout Spokane County. So first responders are still able to help you if you are in need of something. But I can tell you that once again, multiple people are on their way to Sacred Heart.
Okay, Haley, thank you so much. And in case you're just joining us, we do want to confirm that law enforcement says the suspect has been detained. However, they are still going from room by room, and bomb squad is also there taking every precaution necessary to make sure that nothing further happens.
All right, let's take it back live to Freeman High School and reporter Katie Chen, her vantage point. Katie, what can you see right now? What new information do you have? Obviously, we can't hear. I think we have Katie now. Katie?
All right, hey guys, sorry about that technical issue. Right now I am standing outside of Freeman High School, and you can see a lot of very concerned parents outside in this parking lot, of course staying behind the red tape that police have set up, as it is still a very active investigation. It is an absolutely heartbreaking scene, as I've watched parents, constantly on the phone trying to get any sort of information possible, and it sounds like they are having us move at this point in time, so I'll have to wrap it up, but I'll bring you any sort of updates I get as soon as I can.
All right, Katie Chen live at Freeman. We can tell you that our Joan McHale has arrived at Sacred Heart, we believe. Want to take you there and check in with him this morning. We will be in touch with him in a minute, but we can tell you, as Haley Gunther confirmed through sources with Sacred Heart Hospital, they are anticipating multiple victims coming to the hospital after a shooting. Shots fired at Freeman High School. It obviously quickly went into lockdown. Teachers and administrators, they trained for this. Unfortunately, they had to go into that training plan today and put that school in lockdown. Several other schools in our area also under lockdown.
That's right. That includes schools on Spokane Public Schools on the south side. It also includes Central Valley High School taking these measures to make sure that their students are safe. That is number one. And in the meantime, at this point, we're still working to gain more information, as are parents, because parents are working to find out if their kids are okay. Just coming into the newsroom now, we are getting a number on exactly how many victims there are, and we're getting a number that looks like 6 victims now being sent to Sacred Heart Medical School.
You're looking at updated Twitter postings from Spokane Public Schools. Obviously, they're on the periphery of the incident at Freeman High School, so they're going to take precautionary moves to protect their students. And we can tell you that there are 6 victims transported to Sacred Heart Hospital. We are going to listen in. Obviously, the doctors and emergency medical personnel responding there. We have a crew there as well, and we're going to listen into that.
Injuries?
No, in fact, most of the patients aren't even on site yet.
So, do you know how many are on site right now?
I've only heard that 2 have arrived. So
you're expecting 6 total or 6 more?
We don't even know that for sure. We're kind of at the mercy of you. You provide most of that information to us. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
you bet.
Could I talk to all of you for just one moment? I want to make certain that we respect the privacy of individuals.
And you've been listening to medical personnel at Sacred Heart said they are expecting 6 victims to arrive there anytime. The drive time, if it's by ambulance between Freeman and Sacred Heart, roughly about 25 minutes. So that'll give you an idea. Their arrival there should be any minute.
Well, and you also heard him say that there are 2 there right now. And as we wrap that coverage up, you also heard someone from the hospital attempt to talk to the reporters who are there and address the issue that victims' privacy is absolutely important right now, and that is essential because we know that so many parents at this point don't know where their children are.
Well, let's reset for you if you're just joining us for breaking news. It was a little over an hour ago. The initial indication of shots fired at Freeman High School came into the KHQ newsroom. We know that Washington State Patrol, Spokane County Sheriff's Office, Spokane Valley Police, virtually all first responders that were in that immediate area responded to Freeman High School. We can tell you, confirming about 4 minutes ago, 6 victims being transported to Sacred Heart Hospital. The threat has been contained by authorities. They are now, as we speak, going classroom to classroom, getting the students out of there. We saw a number of parents standing around the perimeter of the school. Obviously, that's what it comes down to, being able to see your son or your daughter in person. What a scary situation. It's a call you never want to receive as a parent. Unfortunately, it's reality at Freeman High School today.
And as you can see from the pictures and the parents who are standing there crying, desperate to talk to their children, so many of them have not had that contact yet. So many of them are desperate to hear from their kids saying that they are okay. But at this point, we know that at least 6 people aren't. 6 people headed en route right now to Sacred Heart Hospital.
All right, let's go back to Freeman High School for the latest information that we have at the location with KHQ local news reporter Peter Maxwell.
Yeah, well, right now the scene here at Freeman High School, as you can expect, there is a ton of law enforcement, dozens upon dozens of vehicles right now. We do have people standing on the roof right now with their long guns drawn. Parents are right now being asked to meet at the Freeman Market, which is right next to the Freeman High School. Parents were originally gathering in the parking lot closest to the Freeman Mart, but they're now being asked by law enforcement to go and meet at the Freeman Market right next to the high school. And right now we do have more law enforcement officials and unmarked vehicles arriving on scene. You can hear the sirens right now in the background. There's dozens more arriving right now at Freeman High School. It's a very active scene right now, and I did see a life flight helicopter just a short time ago land in the field. And as you can just expect, it's just a pretty chaotic scene right now here at Freeman.
All right, and we saw in a live picture there, as you can see, this is a live picture. This is Highway 27. What you're looking at just off to the left is the Freeman store there, and you can see it's usually not this busy. Parents walking, driving up, very concerned, obviously, about their child, and they are going to get some information from law enforcement, obviously, at the location and school officials. It's a process here to kind of get this information in place. They're going to have a staging area for the parents. Obviously, they want to get the students out of the classroom. There's the Freeman store that you see here. And just to the south of this is Freeman High School. We understand we have a parent on the phone with us right now.
Yeah, we want to go ahead and talk to Tina, who has called into the news station. We've been in touch with Tina. And Tina, first of all, thank you so much for talking to us. Tell us about who you have at Freeman High School and what you know.
My son is there. He's a junior, and I don't know a whole lot. He called when it first happened, just to let us know that he was safe and locked in a classroom. At that point, he said it was a sophomore that had done the shooting. Didn't know if there was 1 or 2. He said that there was. I think he said that there was like 3 at that point. Only 3 victims, but now obviously that we find out there's more. I wasn't able to get down to the school, so that's all I know. I don't know a whole lot except for the fact that out here we're a really close-knit community, so we know pretty much everybody, and it's scary.
Yeah, Tina, I don't know, is there a process in place at Freeman High School where there's a text alert sent out? The initial indication you said was a phone call. from your child, and obviously that's the last call any parent wants to receive.
Yeah, exactly. I've been keeping in touch with him via text, and usually they will send out like an overall text or email letting us know when it is actually okay to actually pick up our kids. As of right now, they are not releasing the kids as far as I know. I haven't heard anything from my son. My husband's down in that area kind of waiting to hear when he can go and get him released and everything.
Well, Tina, I have to imagine, you get that information from your son, you hear that he's okay, but what runs through your mind at that point?
Terror. I mean, you don't think that would happen out here, We're so far out from the city that you wouldn't think that it would happen. And to hear something like this is terrifying, and not knowing what's going on, not being able to be there. Once I got the text and the call from him, I felt a little better, but still, we don't know who's been injured. We don't know if they're friends of ours. I mean, we don't know. And I think that's what's the scariest part, is not knowing.
All right, Tina. Well, our thoughts are with you, and just happy that you're in communication with your son, even though they're not being released. As Tina mentioned, her husband is at the school waiting. We have shown you some live pictures of a lot of parents starting to gather there. We showed you cars driving south on Highway 27, heading to Freeman High School. If we have some live pictures, let's go back to those right now. And the parents, actually, Katie Chen was right outside where those parents were. Let's go back to live to her now.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking out here. I actually just finished speaking with two parents, and they're just absolutely terrified. They were able to get in touch with their kids and do tell me that they are okay, but obviously not knowing, or not even seeing them, not being able to see them is absolutely heartbreaking. One thing that I do want to say, though, is that Highway 27, there are a lot of cars parked here with obviously very concerned parents right now, but police do want the highway clear so when their personnel come through, because I have seen at least 3 or 4 more police vehicles come through in just the last 5 minutes. They do want it clear so officers can get through and do what they need to do. At this point right now, parents, though, as you can imagine, it's absolutely hard for them just to wait and just to be able to see their kids and just to make sure that they're okay. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Katie Chen live at Freeman High School for us.
And the thing is even if you know your kid's okay, you still know they went through something today. You still know that their friends might not be okay, or you still know that your kid heard those shots fired.
We're all parents, and it's a tough situation at Freeman right now. We can tell you we have a crew at Sacred Heart. We also have 2 crews at Freeman High School. So the latest information, as we get it from those 2 locations, we will relay it to you. We can tell you multiple victims are being transported to Sacred Heart. Let's go to Chairston now.
All right, Sean and Kalai, I'm on the social media desk right now, and what I can tell you is a lot of new updates. First and foremost, we are now seeing photos from Highway 27. Parents are being asked now to stage at the Freeman Market. That is going to be your best place for information. Now, we know this is an incredibly challenging time for parents. I myself am, as a parent, I cannot even imagine waiting for the news that your child is okay. So here's what I can tell you. Highway 27 needs to remain clear. There are a number of ambulances that need to come in and out of this area, and we also know that the bomb squad needs to try and clear an area. This is very important notice for all parents. Now, Nicole, she is monitoring Facebook right now. We are live streaming on Facebook. If you would like to follow along with the conversation, you can simply do a dot, and then that way you'll get alerts every time we continue to update this story. Corey over here, he is manning social media. There's a number of photos that students have been taken. One such photo that we have been showing you at home is students that were evacuated from the high school. They have since been taken to the elementary school. There were a number of photos on social media of children all